The whole light shimmered with bright lights, buzzing with excitement. In just a few moments, the bride would arrive at the wedding altar. The groom stood there waiting, his expression unreadable. Then the doors opened, all eyes turned toward the bride, their gaze filled with awe. She looked breathtaking. Truth be told, every bride glows on her wedding day. Wine clutched her bouquet tightly as she stepped into the altar space, feeling the weight of everyone's eyes on her. Her heart pounded. She was nervous, almost trembling. The ceremony began swiftly, and Wine found herself avoiding her husband's gaze. She didn't even know if he was looking at her. Jungkook glanced at her only once, before turning his attention entirely to the ritual. The priest's voice rang out, "Priest, Mr. Jungkook, do you take me Wine to be your wife, to have and to hold in good times and bad, in sickness and in health, for as long as you both shall live?" "Jungkook, I do," he replied, his deep voice resonating through the hall. The sound sent a shiver down Wine's spine, amplifying her nervousness. "Priest, Miss Wine, do you take Mr. Jungkook to be your husband, to stand by his side through all of life's moments, good or bad, joy or sorrow?" Wine froze for a split second, fear flickering in her chest. In a shaky voice she answered, "Wine, yes I do, priest. You will now exchange the rings." The priest said. Wine and Jungkook slid the rings onto each other's finger. The moment his hand brushed her, a faint shiver rippled through her. "Priest, and now," he smiled, "the groom may kiss his bride." Wine's heartbeat quickened. It rushed to her cheeks. The thought of Jungkook kissing her in front of so many people made her stomach flutter with both nervous and anticipation. But instead of leaning in for her lips, Jungkook simply took her hand and placed a light kiss on it. Wine's heart sank a little. She had hoped just this once he might kiss her for real. Joined them. Jungkook's father spoke first. Jungkook's dad, "From now on, you don't have to live with us. The house I prepared for you is ready. You two can stay there." Jungkook's mother added warmly. Jungkook's mom, "If you ever have any problems, Wine, tell me. My son, well, he is not much of a talker. If you can't tell him, you can always tell me." Wine nodded. "Wine, yes, mother." Her own mother's eyes glistened. Wine's mom, "My little girl has grown up, married now. She will no longer live with us." Her father's voice was thick with emotion. Wine's dad, "I once held that tiny hand to teach how to walk. Now I must let it go to send you into a new life." Tears blurred Wine's vision and she broke down, unable to stop herself. They stayed together for a while longer, exchanging a few final words before Jungkook and Wine finally left for their new home. In the car, Jungkook said nothing. Wine, shy and unsure, kept her silence too. They reached their new home just as the night deepened. The moment Wine stepped inside, her breath caught. The room was bathed in the soft glow of warm lights. The air scented faintly with fresh roses. Petals were scattered across the floor and bed, every corner whispering of a new night meant for newlyweds. Jungkook's gaze swept over the room briefly. "Jungkook, my parents must have done this," he said in his calm, even voice. "Don't think too much of it. Just go freshen up." Wine nodded, her throat tight, and slipped into the bathroom. She leaned against the cool wall, staring at her reflection. Her hands were slightly trembling tonight. She didn't know what would happen, but her heart was restless, caught between anticipation and fear. After a few moments, she took a deep breath and stepped out. Jungkook was already laying on the bed, freshly showered, hair slightly damp, a faint trace of soap cleansing through his skin. The flowers that had been on the matters now rested neatly on the table, as if he had quietly cleared the way. Wine walked closer, the sound of her own heartbeat loud in her ears. "Jungkook, I didn't even ask," he said suddenly, his deep voice breaking the silence. "Which side of the bed do you want? Wine, I'm fine with either, she murmured. She said on one side, the mattress dripping slightly under her weight, the room grew still again. The faint hum on the night outside seemed to fade until their heartbeats remained. They had barely spoke since the wedding, just a few practical exchanges, and yet here they were, close enough for her to feel the quiet pull of his presence. Jungkook, there is something I haven't told you, he said after a long pause. Her breath hissed. Was this a rejection, a confession she would not want to hear? Wine, yes, Jungkook. In 2 weeks, I will be joining the military for training, he said. Jungkook, I got a message this morning, he continued, eyes on the ceiling. With the wedding, everyone was busy. I didn't tell anyone. You were the first to know. I will tell the rest tomorrow. One hesitated, her voice barely above a whisper. When will you come back? Jungkook, if things go as planned, 2 years. She turned slightly away from him, trying to hide the heaviness pressing against her chest. Jungkook, are you upset? He said softly. That I told you today, she stayed quiet. Jungkook, I will talk to you whenever I can, he said. Then his hand touched her shoulder, warm and firm, turning her toward him. Her eyes met his and he seemed to study her for a long moment. Jungkook, can I tell you something? She didn't speak, but her silence didn't stop him. Jungkook, when I first came to see you, his voice dropped lower. I planned to break the engagement, but the moment I saw you, my heartbeat changed. My mind said, this is the woman I am going to marry. In her chest tightened, she stared at him, unable to look away. His lips curved faintly, as though he had caught her reaction. Slowly, his hand came up to her cheek. His palm was warm against her skin. Her eyes fluttered shut as he leaned in, his breath mingling with hers. His lips finally touched her. It was slow, deliberate. At first she froze, her mind spinning, but the heat of the moment he pulled her in, his lips moved against her, uncertain but learning, and for a while the words seemed to disappear. When he finally drew back, his voice was quiet, almost a whisper. Jungkook, go to sleep. She had expected something more. Instead, he simply wrapped an arm around her, holding her close. His warmth, his steady heartbeat, and the faint scent of him surrounded her. Finally, the night, she closed her eyes and let herself rest. 2 weeks slipped by in quiet, unhurried days. Jungkook never crossed the unspoken boundary between them. At most, he would take her hand, press a kiss onto her forehead, or occasionally brush her lips with his. One thought, grateful for his tenderness, could not help feeling a twinge of disappointment. She was too shy to say anything, yet over time she came to understand him better. Jungkook was good, gentle in his own way, even if not outwardly romantic. The little time they had spent together had been enough for her to grow fond of him. During these 2 weeks, his parents visited often, and then all too soon, the day came when Jungkook would have to leave. Packing his bags, and Wine was helping him fold and sort his belongings. She too would not stay in this house while he was away. She would return to her parents' home until his return. Before long, the house filled with family members who had come to see him off. Finally, the moment arrived. Jungkook leaned down, kissed Wine's forehead, and said quietly, Jungkook, I will talk to you whenever I can. Then, without another word, he turned to speak with the others, and a few minutes later he was gone. Wine stood there in silence, watching him leave. They hadn't been deeply intimate, but her heart still felt unbearably heavy. She followed her parents home, carrying the eye with her. 2 years passed. Wine had graduated from university. Life had moved on, but some things had not changed. That afternoon, she was on the phone with her best friend Jenny. Fine, you know, she said dryly. Sometimes intelligence is completely useless. Jenny laughed. Jenny, speaking of useless, did you ever open the gift I gave you for your wedding? Fine, yes, she replied. It was useless too. Jenny, what? Don't tell me you still haven't put it to use. Are you incensed? You haven't read it? Her eyes. Fine, read it. There was never even an opportunity. I have met plenty of unromantic men in my life, but none like my husband. He left without days of our wedding, and now we hardly even speak except for the occasional call. Jenny, alright, that's it, she said firmly. I'm going to teach you a few tricks. Trust me, they will work smoothly. Skeptical sign. Fine, nothing going on to work. Jenny, they will, she insisted. I am ordering a few things online for you. You will receive them soon and you will do exactly what I tell you. Jungkook's coming back the day after tomorrow, right? Perfect timing. One groaned. Fine, but if it doesn't work, I am holding you responsible. They hang up. A little while later, Jenny sent her several photos. Wyatt's cheeks flamed instantly. Jenny's follow-up messages contained very specific instruction. One read through them, her lips curving into a sly smile. Fine, alright, Jungkook, she murmured under her breath. Let's see where you go now. Come home and just see what happens. Was home the moment he stepped through the door. The light flickered on, bathing the room in a warm glow. Surprise! Came the chorus of voices. Jungkook blinked, stunned to see his parents, Wine's parents, and Wine herself standing before him. His mother rushed forward, arms opening wide. He melted into her embrace, his father close behind. Wine lingered to the side, quiet, watching him with steady eyes. Jungkook's gaze found her briefly, a silent pull, but the moment was lost amid the joyful chaos. The evening drifted on laughter stories, the clinking of glasses and plates. Yet beneath the noise, a quiet tension simmered between Jungkook and Wine, growing with every shared glances and hesitant smile. Eventually, the last guest bid their goodbye. Jungkook's father gave a warm nod. Jungkook's dad, we will come back soon whenever we can. One's mother smiled softly. One's mom, it's late. Time for us to leave too. The door closed behind them. The silence wrapped the house like a soft blanket. Only Jungkook and Wine remained. Air was thick with unspoken words and fluttering nerves. Wine's voice was barely more than a whisper, but it carried a newfound boldness. Wine, the bed is ready, you should go. Jungkook's eyes waited in surprise, flickering across his features. She didn't speak like this. Without hesitation, he swallowed her and headed to the bedroom. To the bathroom, she took a deep breath, her fingers trembling as she slipped into the night dress. Jenny had sent a delicate shade of blush, soft silk that flowed over her skin like a whispered promise. The fabric clung tenderly to every curve, outlining her legs, the gentle swell of her neckline, the graceful arch of her collarbone. In the bathroom, she moved toward the bedroom, each step measured, deliberate. Jungkook lay on the bed, his gaze lifting at the sound. When he saw her, his breath hissed. Her presence stunned him. How something so simple, so natural could stir something deep within him. She passed him, settling at the dressing table, the soft light illuminating the pale skin of her arms and legs as she reached for lotion. Her fingers glided smoothly, slow and purposeful, tracing her skin as if painting an invisible invitation. From the corner of the room, Jungkook's eyes never left her. His breath became uneven, the heat behind his gaze intensified. One caught his stare in the mirror and smiled faintly, a secret shared only between them. Suddenly, she turned to meet his eyes. Jungkook quickly averted his gaze, cheeks flushed with a color deeper than the nightdress she wore. She rose gracefully and crossed the room, sitting beside him on the bed. He kept his face turned away, his jaw tight. "Fine, it's so warm tonight," she murmured, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I feel hot, and you are so red. Are you warm too? Maybe lower the AC." Without a word, Jungkook reached for the remote, adjusting the temperature downward. Back, allowing the hem of her dress to creep up, revealing more of her smooth thigh. She sensed his eyes on her, the sharp intake of breath, the stubble tightening of his muscle. He knew she was teasing him, pulling at thread she wasn't yet ready to unravel. "Jungkook, enough," he said quietly, voice low but firm. "No more drama." She tilted her head, playful innocence in her gaze. "Why drama? What do you mean?" Before she could respond, Jungkook was upon her, his hand steady and sure as he pinned her gently to the bed. Her breath caught in surprise, heart pounding like thunder. Close to her ear, voice a husky whisper, warm and compelling. "Jungkook, do you think I don't see what you are doing?" Her cheeks burned, pulse racing as she met his intense gaze. "Well, I'm not doing anything," she breathed, voice soft, eyes wide and honest. "Jungkook, you will find out soon enough," he promised, lips brushing her neck. Then his mouth captured hers, fierce, tender, consuming. One responded slowly, the word narrowing to the feel of his lips, the brush of his hands, the beat of his heart against hers. Clothes slipped away silently, the cool air mingling with their heated skin. Words fell away, replaced by whispers, promises, and shared breath in the quiet dark. Time lost meaning. There was only them, bound by the unspoken, unrevealing together beneath the moonlit sky. A few hours later, exhaustion finally claimed them both. Jungkook held one close, his arms were protectively around her. "Jungkook, are you alright?" he murmured, his voice soft with concern. "Does anything hurt?" Why nodded shyly, unable to speak, her cheeks flushed with quiet embracement. Teasingly, "Jungkook, and now you're shy. Not long ago, you weren't the least bit embraced." One's lips curved into a small smile. "Why, is it so bad to feel shy sometimes?" His hand stroked soothing, circle along her back, gentle, reassuring. Suddenly, a question flickered into one's mind. Why didn't you know on the wedding night?" she asked hesitantly. Jungkook's eyes widened in surprise. "Jungkook, I thought you weren't ready. Did you want to do something and didn't say?" Why sat up a little straighter, startled by his question. "Why? No, I didn't want anything." He lay quietly, neither able to fall asleep just yet, his heart still racing with all that had passed between them. Jungkook seemed to wrestle with words, his lips parting, then closing again. Finally he spoke in a long, tender voice. "Jungkook, baby, can I ask you a favor?" His tone was so gentle, so full of warmth. Wine turned toward him with curious eyes. "Wine, what is it?" "Jungkook, let's do it again." Wine hesitated, touching her side generally. "Wine, my body still hurts." Smiled reassuringly. "Jungkook, it's okay. I will take care of all the chores around the house. You just rest." "Why, no," she said firmly. Jungkook didn't argue. Instead, he leaned in and kissed her deeply. Wine responded, melting into his arms. Morning came softly, sunlight filtering through the curtains. Wine stirred awake and found Jungkook still asleep beside her, peaceful and relaxed. She smiled softly to herself. Wine looked at him, sleeping like a little child, and yet last night, when he was awake, he nearly drove me crazy. Careful not to disturb him, she slowly tried to get out of bed. As she shifted, she lost her balance and stumbled to the floor with a soft thud. The noise woke up Jungkook instantly. Sitting up, he looked over and saw Wine laying on the floor. on the floor like this?" he asked, concerned, knitting his brows. Wayne laughed bitterly. "Wayne, ask yourself that. You are the one who made me do this." Jungkook chuckled and reached out, lifting her effortlessly into his arms. He carried her toward the bathroom. Steady and sure, Wayne rested her head against his chest, wrapping her arms gently around his knees, savoring the quiet closeness. Jungkook prepared and entered breakfast on his own. The aroma filled the kitchen, and when Wayne sat down to eat, she could not help but smile. The food was delicious, better than she had expected. As she ate, a mischievous thought crossed her mind. From now on, I should just let Jungkook handle all the cooking. She hid her little grin, not wanting him to notice. By noon, they were curled up together on the couch watching television. Wayne had her arm wrapped around Jungkook's side, resting comfortably against him. The program on the screen was romantic drama, light and sweet until, quite suddenly, an intimate scene appeared. Jungkook glanced sideways at Wayne, curious to see her reaction. She was quiet, her eyes still on the screen, calm as ever. He tried to turn his attention back to the TV, but the moment lingered in his mind, stirring something inside him. His gaze kept drifting to her. Wayne, sensing the change in atmosphere, looked up at him and caught him staring. The air between them seemed to grow warmer, heavier. Jungkook leaned toward her, slowly closing the distance. Wayne's breath caught and she closed her eyes. In one swift motion, he scooped her into his arms and gently lowered her onto the sofa. Moments later, his lips found her asleep and unhurried. The television continued to play in the background, but neither of them was watching anymore. The rest of the day unfolded in a blur of playful teasing, stolen touches, and quiet laughter. They even went for a walk in the late afternoon, returning home only after night had fallen. That night, they lay side by side in bed. Wayne was utterly exhausted, her eyes already drifting shut when she felt Jungkook's hand slide over her stomach. She opened her eyes to find him wide awake, watching her. "Jungkook, baby," he murmured, getting close. "I am really hurt right now." I sweated at his bluntness. "Wayne, no way, I'm not doing anything. My whole body is sore. If we start continuing from yesterday, you have gone at least 30 rounds. I can't anymore." Jungkook's expression softened into an almost childish plea. "Jungkook, please, just this once. I promise I won't ask again." "Wayne, no," she said firmly. "I'm going to sleep." She rolled over, facing the other way, and shut her eyes, but soon she felt his arm slide around her waist, holding her close. Under her breath, she muttered, "Wayne, this is all Jenny's fault. If she hadn't said anything, my body would not be like this today." Her voice trembled, and before she could stop herself, she began to sniffle quietly into the pillow.